Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your Goddess Guru. And y'all know I love helping women align with their life purpose using ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. And so I am here to talk to you all today a little bit more about the goddess-centered lifestyle. It's actually something I could talk about all day long. I actually do. But yes, there is what is called the spiritual aspirant initiation. And so on the path to helping you all understand what that is, I'm like, let me just come on and talk to the sisters a little bit about, what does it mean to live a divine feminine lifestyle? Just what are some of the things that I suggest? Let's talk. Let me see if there are any comments. Let me know if you're here. #replay. Hello to those of you who are tuning in this evening. So one of the things that I think is really important, this is my particular experience, is a lot of us know that there is another way. We know that there's something out there. There's something different. The question is, what are we going to do? Hello, Marcia or Marcia. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Peace, Eileen. Me Atkins. Welcome, Goddess. A lot of times we know that there is some path out there for us. There's something that we, want to be a part of. But we often don't know. A lot of us don't even want a religion anymore. People are becoming more and more averse to religion. Just a little bit about my story. I was raised Christian, and I'm not going to lie, I'm fortunate that I was raised Catholic because I became used to being a weirdo early, very early on. And because I lived in Mississippi. And that was, even white people weren't Catholic in Mississippi, much less Black folk. Oh my gosh. Yes, I was very, very weird. Another thing I will say that I liked about Catholicism is it has the saints. And you light your candles for the ancestors, incense. It's sort of like provided a nice little segue into something different. But yeah, no religion. A lot of people don't want a religion for a number of reasons. I believe in self-religion. If I'm being honest with you, I subscribe to self-religion. Like everybody has their own religion. Just figure it out. So I was as a girl, I was a weirdo. I would say my closet secret always was that I never really believed in the way that people believed them. I'll say it that way. I tried to, but it didn't really all the time make sense to me. I'm actually one of the ones, though, who felt a little bit wounded. Now, let me tell you what the Catholic Church is good at. The Catholic Church is good at making, what is that? That Eve, that curse of Eve. Oh my gosh, that made me feel so guilty. Yes, everyone has their own path, but yeah, it was oppressive for me too. And that Eve story, I was like, huh. Anyway, I remember as a teenager feeling like, I don't really believe in hell. And that's a big thing in the Christian tradition. I would tell people, I'm sorry, I just don't believe there's hell. I just can't believe God is going to, like this all-knowing God that knows everything that's going on with us, would send us to hell. So I always had this different view. And I remember at some point wondering, why is God just he? Why can't God be she? These are questions that I had. I always had some concept of the ancestors and like the way God looked. It wasn't really human. It was just, I don't know. I remember as a girl thinking like, well, we didn't have cell phones, but let's imagine we had cell phones when I was a girl. I used to think the cell phone had consciousness. Like it was like the cell phone had something in it that it was like, oh, it's letting me know what it wants to do. Always very, very weird concepts. Always very intuitive and psychic, always. And so I left Mississippi and went to college at Spelman College, which was at the time, very Christian school. At least, they had a chapel and stuff like that. The motto at the time was our whole school for Christ. Even now when I see women from Spelman, a lot of them are very Christian. It's very, very Christian. But I decided I wanted to start branching out. And so I went to this Black Catholic church for a little while, which I wasn't used to that. I always wanted to have an African-American experience. I just loved the feel of Baptist church whenever I did get a chance to go. And so then I started going to Protestant church. I would go to Black Baptist church. I love the music. And it was a little bit different. It was there were certain things about Catholic church I actually did like. And then it was things about the Black church that I was like, oh, yeah, this is me. But I always just had this question, what was the religion of my ancestors? And I always did just wonder, why can't God be she? And of course, there was Mary, which I love that part about the Catholic Church. We had these prayers. We would say this rosary to Mary or whatever. So that, and there was this book in the Bible, the Catholic Bible, called the Book of Wisdom. And I think it was the Book of Wisdom. I can't remember, but there was some book that was this feminine book of the Bible, which that was not a concept in Black Baptist church. I did go to Methodist church for a little while. Actually, I sort of liked Methodist church when I was a girl. My mother sent me with the neighbors. So as I got deeper into my 20s, I really began to wonder, what was the religion of my ancestors, and why can't God be she? And I found Queen Afua. And that was my first experience with something different, with realizing, because, there was the Black Muslims, but I just could not vibe with the Muslims. I was like, we think women seem to be oppressed by Christianity. I think that they are oppressed by Islam. No offense to anyone who practices these religions. I have friends that are part of these religions. No offense. That was just my perception. So Islam was absolutely not an option for me. And so I find Queen Afua, and she started introducing some of the Egyptian concepts. Actually, when I was at Spelman and Morehouse, there was a group, or there was the Kemet, maybe it was Kemet was the name of the male fraternity, and Auxerre or Isis or something like that. Aset, I think it was. Aset was the name of the female sorority. And these were Africans. So, but I didn't really learn much of anything about deities or anything. I don't even know if they were into the deities of Egypt. But definitely Queen Afua started turning my wheels. And then Iyanla Vanzant, I was one of the early adopters of Iyanla Vanzant. And then, just beginning to understand African traditional religions, spirituality, and finding these feminine energies, And just like so many people, I so badly wanted to initiate into Ifa. And so, or, into the Orisha tradition, however you want to describe it. And I was very fortunate to find godparents who were older than me, very mature, loving, and were more about self-realization and self-mastery. So I did get my Elekes first. And then, it was all this energy work, I got Reiki attuned, different things like that. And yeah, I don't know. I just, the thing that I know the most, and, I did Oprah Change Your Life TV, so many different things. But the one thing I can tell you is I felt so lost. I felt so lost. And I remember thinking, I'm scared. I'm really scared to make a commitment to something outside of Christianity. This is something I actually find with a lot of people. They get very afraid. They hear the call, but they are very afraid to answer the call because so many of us are raised up in homes that have religions that, it's very difficult for people to be okay with folks studying something different. Yes, Eileen was a weirdo too. So me and Eileen, we call each other twins because she says Queen of Fool and a Yama for her too. Yeah, she's a little bit younger than me though. Yes. So she was a youngin. So yeah, it's really scary. And I remember doing my best to not commit to anything. I felt like if I don't commit, then I just get to just kind of free float out here and like fly under the radar, and maybe nobody will know anything about what's really going on. Just a total closeted spiritualist. It actually did create some friction in my marriage. My husband is a devout Christian. I had wondered some days, are we going to make it? It never came up, let's separate. But, you know, it's scary. It's very, very scary. His father's a pastor. His father's father is a pastor. His family is very Christian. I will say I am fortunate that my family is different. Like we all believe in God, but none of us are religious. Not one. Not my dad, not my brothers. My mother passed and she was Christian, but me and my dad and brothers, we just believe in a higher power, but there's nothing religious about my side of the family. We're so heathen. And so, yeah, that helped me. Me and my older brother actually had an awakening, a spiritual awakening at the same time. He went to Egypt and that's when his kicked off. So I remember I went and got a reading from a traditional, actually an Orisha priestess. And I was like really trying to wiggle my way out of making a commitment to something spiritual. And the oracle was like, heck to the now. You're going to make a commitment. I was like, dang, what am I going to commit to? Well, enter my godmother. One day after I had my second baby, which being pregnant was extremely spiritual for me. After having my second baby, I was just like, I feel so lost. I feel so lost. I know there's something spiritual calling me and I'm scared to answer, but then by the same token, I feel like I'm going to die if I don't. I feel like something's going to go wrong if I don't answer. And so she was like, hey, I want you to think about this process that I have. And it's called, at the time, Sacred Feminine Mysteries is all we had. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll initiate into the Sacred Feminine Mysteries. Well, I did not realize that it was going to be one of the best decisions of my life, even though I was very afraid. I was very sneaky about it. It was a different experience. I was part of like what you would call the beta team to help her kind of figure out what to do with this. So it took us a long time for a number of reasons. It was a 3-year process. It is nothing like that now. And so when I finished, I realized that this was what I was born to do. I was born to initiate into a goddess tradition. A lot of people know me because they find my videos of me talking about Yemonja a lot of times. That is like a few really popular videos right after I initiated into the Orisha tradition. And a lot of people find my class, or it's a webinar that I put online about Oshun, and people push back. I get some pushback. People will complain about that one because it's not pure Ifa, because I began to understand these Orisha as goddesses. And the thing that I love about being a part of a goddess tradition and not an ancient tradition, well, I am a part of Ifa and I will always be a part of Ifa, and I will always study it. I will use the oracle. I will use my rights and privileges as a priestess as much as I can. That I don't lead with that though, because there is so much baggage that comes with religion, even these Black religions. And I'm just being 100 with y'all, because last year I was just like sort of feeling some kind of way, and I love everybody. Y'all know I'm very loving and kind, and I don't like being inflammatory, but it was bothering me at one point, the way people are just fawn over the Babalaos, as if there are no female priestesses. The female Babalaos, so to speak, or the ones that's at that level in Ifa are called Ianifa. And see, in my spiritual family, the men and the women are equal. There's not one higher than the other. We just respect the energy. There's the feminine energy. There's the masculine energy. We honor it in everybody. Like I have a masculine Orisha. I have a feminine Orisha. We honor all of it. We love all of it. And we embrace that all the energies are within us. And the women are respected. The men are respected. It's just how it is. Like no one is above the other. And so to come out into this world, like into YouTube world and the internet world, and to see so many people praising these Babalaos, which my position is, and I'm just being 100 with y'all. I want to let y'all know exactly where I stand. Because of me working with my godmother, I am like, give me a woman. Give me a woman. If I'm going to be initiating, I want to initiate with a woman. She has my hormones. She understands what it means to have a womb. And in a way, we have been so disempowered as women that oftentimes I don't think that we realize how much we don't respect our female leaders. It's something that we have to train ourselves into doing. And so, it's like I just began to realize the only way I'm going to make it and really feel powerful within a spiritual tradition is to take the path of the divine feminine. I must initiate into a tradition that highlights my energy, my divine feminine, my feminine energy, that helps me to create a lifestyle that's based on my hormones, that's based on my womb, that's based on my experience, that is okay with things there's this energy of, the soft and the feminine, and it must be protected. Sometimes that's how it's looked at, and it's weaker, but there is strength in the feminine, and there's a continuum. That's one thing that astrology has helped me to realize. There is a continuum, because there are women who are born, they got a womb, they got a yoni, but they are very masculine. There's a continuum. We all come here with a certain amount of energy that is presenting itself in a certain way. Those of us who are very soft and feminine, we're still strong. We're still strong. And so as I see it, the divine feminine way is about women owning their energy and showing up in the world in the way that is best for them. I'm always, thank goodness I study astrology. It began to help me to understand. We better respect these women with this masculine energy. We need to stop making them feel like, well, she's just too aggressive and she's too this and she's too forward. I've always loved women who are just like straight up. Like, I don't have to question what she thinks. I had this friend, Omi Lola. Omi Lola cusses like a sailor. I don't know if she still cusses like a sailor, but in the past, she cussed like a sailor. And she always sort of had it rough because everybody's like, you're just too aggressive. No, she's just blunt AF. She's a Sagittarius. What do you expect? That's what Sagittarius do. They speak their minds, right? And so it's just so important for us to make sure that we embrace our divine feminine nature. But it's also important for us to make sure that we consciously step onto the path. I was thinking about jump roping. And this is what a lot of us do with our, hey, Felicia, this is what a lot of us do with spirituality. We trying to jump in there, but we won't do it. We won't jump, right? We're too afraid. A lot of us, this is something that my godmother said to me one time. She was like, baby, I sense that your power is so great that you keep it locked behind this door and you're afraid to open this door and let it out. That's what's really going on with a lot of us. You know, Marianne Williamson is typically noted for saying that quote is we really afraid of our own power, right? It's not that we don't want to shine our light. We're afraid of our light. You know, I was talking to one of my inner circle members today. We had a class today, and I was like, it's a lot of women that's afraid to shine. That is a very normal, typical thing. Now that I'm in the business world, a lot of people, they will not get on here and do these videos. They're terrified of doing videos, right? And it's honestly, we are afraid of our own light. We're afraid of our own power. And we will not even consciously step on the path to access it so that we can express it, right? And part of the problem, as I see it, is we don't really know what to do. We don't really know what to do. And so I give thanks to my godmother, Oshunike. She is the one who was like, you know what? I hear the call. I'm supposed to do what? I'm supposed to help these women embrace their divine feminine power, tap into the power of their wombs. Okay, I'm going to do it. And she began to help us to realize you have to cultivate a lifestyle that is based on divine feminine principles, that is aligned with your energy. And this is why I now subscribe to self-religion, because there's no one formula that was given to me by my godmother. And therefore, I never give out one formula. Y'all know I've been averse to it. Now I'll help you figure out. I will actually cheer you on in doing what you think is right, because it is sometimes about just testing. But most of the time, y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. Yes, we are socialized to hide our light. And I want y'all to think about something. It's like I mentioned in the video the other day, it's a real cold game that's being played on us, that we will self-tame. We will just be like, y'all know what? We shouldn't shine. It's not good to shine. Why are we tamed to not shine? Well, because you'll stand in your power. And there was a time when, as the book said, when God was a woman. And so what happened? Well, the divine feminine is so powerful that, yeah, I honestly do believe that there was a part of it that women did maybe go rogue with their energy. I do believe that something like that sort of happened. But the way this feminine energy has been suppressed so cold, so tightly, that we don't want to express it. We would prefer to man up. Well, a lot of us actually, we've been forced to man up, right? And I don't want us to be thinking about it in the sense that, well, we've been forced to man up in various ways. I'm going to say it that way. We are very masculine, even though like my voice is feminine. I have on feminine clothes. I look feminine. I have feminine ways. There's a lot of us that are very aggressive, and we realize we have to be aggressive in order to make it, to be more laid back and receptive. You're afraid to be that way because it's like, well, someone's going to take advantage of me, because it has happened, right? So there is a reason that our power has been suppressed, and we need to just go on ahead and open it up, unlock it, and unleash it. And I'm going to tell y'all the main reason why I think we should do it. And it's very, very selfish. It's very selfish. It's so you can be happy. That's it. I'm going to be honest with you. I really want women to be happier. I want us to feel better about being in our bodies, no matter what our bodies look like, no matter how we have shown up during the day. I want us to be happier. I want us to be okay with ourselves. I want us to love our quirks and our irks. I want us to be so happy and joyful because we're doing our art, because we are building apps, because we are just out taking a walk by the lake, because that's what we like to do. Like, I'm gonna be real honest. It's for very selfish reasons. I just want y'all to be happy. Hey, Sandy. Yeah, it's a cold game. A cold game. Very good, Felicia. Yes, no playing small. No playing small. Sandy on Facebook, we are trained to hold back. And it's actually, the way I look at it is, the more we unlock and unleash our feminine energy into the world, because y'all, for real, think about it. The world is actually like really feminine nature. It's a very feminine energy. There's just so much about when we look at the feminine principle. And I remember my mind just being blown when I was initiating, and I was like, oh yeah, we were talking about like the Hindu tradition, the Shiva and the Shakti energy. And I was like, okay, yeah, like Shiva's like the active energy that creates. My godmother was like, oh no, Shiva is the principle behind the Shakti. The Shakti is what makes all of this show up. I was like, well, that's fire right there. Really? Wow. Okay. So yeah, it's important for us to do this, because I'm telling you, the world will heal. And the men actually need us to do this. Okay. Whether they say it consciously or not, the men, they need us, because men need to be more feminine. Men are like, I want to cry, or I want to feel, or whatever. Especially these young ones, they're coming through like, we're not trying to be like, we don't have feelings. We have feelings. We have emotions. We need therapy too. We need self-care too. The more we unlock it and unleash it, everybody benefits. Everybody benefits. And so the first thing to do is to consciously step on your path and to not free float out there. There's a coach. I love what she says. She talks about, don't be an indecision. And I say that is important when it comes to your spiritual work. You want to consciously step onto your path, okay? See, the goddess path, as I see it, let me tell you what I always imagine. And I feel sort of like that with the inner circle. Not sort of, I do. We just don't do it in person. That's why I was like, sort of. There's this, what is the name of this movie? Oh no, it's the name of a book. Okay, come on, bring it to me. There's a name of a book where it's like back in the King Arthur time, in The Mist of Avalon. Thank you. The Mist of Avalon. Now there's a movie and then there's a book, but the movie is, you can like see stuff. It's so different from the book, but anywho, you see these women living somewhere like back in ancient times, and there's this mist that like it's a school, a mystery school where women are trained in spiritual arts. And there's all this mist that's there. And over the, in there, like you might see someone weaving, but as she weaves, that's what makes her trance out, right? Or just all this womanly work that's going on. It's just women practicing their spiritual arts. That's what we need. We need to go back to that, y'all. We definitely need to go back to that. And so part of that is consciously stepping onto your path and making a commitment to work your spiritual practices every day. So yeah, it's more about your path. More than anything, that's very important for me to know, for you to know. This is not a religion. This is about women consciously stepping onto their path and having a way that keeps them on the straight and narrow towards their destinies. And so another thing that I have found in my work, like my godmother, she created the initiation. I feel like I'm the one that does a good job with like keeping people going, right? That's why I have the inner circle. It's like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna keep you going. And so what I have found in all my years of working and doing readings with women is a lot of times women don't understand their cycles. They don't read their energy. And that's how women end up devolving. But see, back in the day, all these indigenous cultures, these women were very intuitive. Okay. They were intuitive. They understood their energy. They knew what to do to bring their energy back into balance. If they had trouble bringing their energy back into balance, they were going to go see, that community priest or priestess, the medicine man or woman, the shaman, the babalaos, whoever, the yayes. They were going to go see that person. They also, back in the day, there was always initiation. We have missed out on female rites of passages. And so when you don't have proper rites of passages, it's like we get stuck in certain phases and we can't get out, right? So it's important for us to understand there's processes that we really should go through, and we've missed out on it as modern day women. And so doing that, along with keeping up with your energy and doing something about your energy when your energy is off, do something, and then begin to work your womanly art. And so, like, one of the things I love saying in my inner circle is, y'all, we need to normalize intuition in the boardrooms, on the college campuses, in the entrepreneurial world, at the daycares, whatever. We need to normalize our intuition being a part of what we do. And so part of, the goddess-centered way is being intuitive and making that a large part of what you lead with. So keeping up with your cycles, initiating. And let me tell y'all what initiation is. Initiation is about letting go of the old. It's like, you know what? I'm leaving that part of me behind and I'm going in a new direction. And so for me, what did I leave behind? I left behind the part of me that was just like, okay, what did you say I'm supposed to do, world? And I just said, I got to find myself. I got to figure out who I am and why am I here? And why am I different spiritually? And what am I supposed to do with it? Because that's the next thing about initiation. So when we initiate as priestesses, everybody didn't end up doing spiritual work like me. One of my besties, she's an engineer. She finished and became an engineer. She's now launching a life coaching business also. Another one started drumming. I don't even know what she does for a living, but she drums. She was not a drummer before her initiation, but she started using drumming to help women to heal. I've seen women come out. Another one, she does art, face painting, but it is like next level face painting. Some of us finish and we just get stronger in our natural gifts and talents. Maybe we were already using them. So there's one who is she a professor? But I know she's a writer. She's written many books. So it just shored her up even more for writing books. It's a very healing process also. And so wait a minute. Y'all are commenting. Very true. Forced to be in our masculine energy. Yes, I had to be masculine while raising children. Yes, Shiva, Shakti, Kundalini rising. Finally, the younger generation of men are encouraged to express themselves. Yes, Sandy, we had to let them know it's really okay. This world cannot heal without feminine energy. The energy is out of balance, is way out of balance. Oh yeah, the red tent. Very good. Very good. Normalize intuition. It's so important. Intuition is very feminine. My godfather used to talk about how women are naturally intuitive, and the men, a lot of times they would be up here. So they had to work on their intuition. So let's see here. And most of the people who are commenting are a part of my inner circle. So y'all, come on, let's show them what we do. Let's show them what we do. I'm going to pull up. I think I'm going to pull this one up first. Hold on one second. Just so we can kind of talk about it a little bit more. No, that's not what I want. Here it is. So, are you living in alignment with your divine feminine nature? Thank you, Keisha. Keisha, oh my gosh. Yeah, Keisha's definitely a divine feminine being. We're going to bring Keisha on to talk about her book and her oracle deck. I can't wait. So I ask, are you living in alignment with your divine feminine nature? And I think it's important for us to even ask, what does that mean? What does it mean to live in alignment with your divine feminine nature? I would love, love, love to hear that from you all. And honestly, I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. Most of y'all really do know what to do. You just don't trust yourselves. That's something I find to be very common. And that is because we are so unused to working with our divine feminine nature that we don't trust it. But I can assure you, most of y'all know what you're supposed to do. And if you would just do it on a regular basis, then that's when you are going to find that you are feeling more balanced and more aligned. Because just because you initiate don't mean that life feels perfect. Trust and believe. It's initiation was a rebirth. And so, of course, once you become birth anew, you've got to figure out, what is that? What does that really mean? What do I really do with this? I was very confused after I initiated. Now, the spiritual aspirant initiation, you should not end up confused after this initiation, because it is designed to help bring you, more into center, into who and what you are. Okay. It is very loving. It is not, one of the things I like to talk about is I'm gentle. I feel like we've been beat up enough. We don't need people beating us up in initiation. I consider the goddess to be a very loving and gentle energy. It's one of the reasons I have chosen this tradition. Is I'm like, I was beat up enough. I don't need anything like that. So that's what spiritual aspirant is. You feel loved on. It's a container that allows you to come and be very, very feminine, to explore your own way, to become more steeped in it. Because like I said, a lot of y'all whoever decides they want to jump on this journey with me, you will figure out you knew what to do. It's just like Dorothy. You knew it all along. You just feel more confident about it, right? Some people might find some stuff that they didn't have before. So, hey, Lady Eva. Okay, so let me see here. What is the divine feminine way? Now, this is a framework that I have created in a way to help you to understand there is a system. There is a way for you to kind of figure out, like, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? I love using catchword phrases and catchwords and all that kind of good stuff. So for me, it's awareness, alignment, and action. Okay. And so what is awareness? In my opinion, y'all see, I am clapping. Okay. Awareness is the queen of all of them. Awareness, I mean, the more I do my spiritual studies, the more I'm like, the more we use this energy of awareness, the more we put ourselves in the energy of awareness, it's the power tool. It's the way maker. It's the way shower. It's the way we manifest. It's through awareness. Okay. So what is awareness? A lot of it is know your blueprint. And so what is your blueprint? I'm going to tell y'all, I am so happy I found astrology. There is no blueprint that I have found that works like astrology. Now, I will say I like the things like, what is the one that human design is huge right now. A lot of people are talking about that. The enneagrams, I think those are really good. Also, I don't know if they talk about, like, and y'all let me know in the comments, do they talk about, like, this is what your mama would be like, or this is would be your dad would be like. I'm pretty sure it doesn't make predictions. So for instance, astrology, you can use astrology to research yourself. And I'm not trying to sell people on astrology. It's more about how do you understand your blueprint. Some of it is you just sit down and you think about, like these are the things that happened to me. Like consciously, we remember our childhood. We remember the things that happened with our family. But some of it is you may not remember it, or it was so pivotal. If you can see astrologically something happened, it can kind of help you to like reframe it or something like that. So, but it can help you to literally see certain things that happen. You can find out things about your family. You can find out things about your ancestors. You can, to a certain degree, find out things about other lifetimes. I believe in like using the imagination to go into other realms to understand, okay, what was this lifetime? Like our lifetimes will speak to us. My position is I have a lifetime now that relates to some other lifetimes. And so I'm here to perhaps settle up some karma from other lifetimes. So but the other part is to know your personality, to understand, like I began to realize part of the reason I have the kind of memory that I have is my Mercury is in Pisces. I used to think because in this world, it's like, there's this high value on memory and, being super logical. Well, I have like a crazy imagination. And there are times when literally there's spaces in my memory or I just can't see certain things. And once I realized, when you have Mercury in Pisces, sometimes you just don't see certain things. You might miss it. I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. So understanding your blueprint leads you to walk in self-acceptance, which is a lot of our problems. We don't accept ourselves. Why? Because the world is like, well, you have this, this, and this, and this makes you wrong. Well, it's just arbitrary, first of all, whatever they're saying. It's just arbitrary. But yeah, it's like, if we can begin to realize this is what I was born with, and I brought it here for a reason. Why do I have Mercury in Pisces? Well, one of the reasons I'm on here talking to you all today is one of the primary comments that I used to get from people when I would come onto YouTube is they would say, you know how to take big spiritual principles and make them understandable. Like I can't understand things when other people explain them, but the exact same thing, you explain it, I get it. I'm like, that's why I have Mercury in Pisces. So understanding your blueprint, understanding your conditionings. Thank you, Felicia. Understanding your conditionings, being aware of those conditionings. So, some of us were conditioned, just from my NLP training. Some people are conditioned, you look people in their eyes when you talk to them, you don't look away. Some people in the world are conditioned, look down. When someone is talking, don't look at them, right? It's just conditionings. Like, honestly, y'all, we just a bunch of conditionings, right? And so we want to look at what are our conditionings, because a lot of those conditionings are in direct conflict with who we really are. And so this is where so much distress comes from, and so much where we're just, I think a lot of dysfunction stems from it. And again, know your cycles. Know your cycles. And say, for instance, y'all know I come on here and talk about these eclipses, right? Why? Because it's a cycle. And the goddess centered lifestyle is about understanding cycles. Like the goddess energy is about cycles. Think about it. The one thing that we have as women is called our cycle. Our cycle is important. Heck yes. Heck yes. Okay, so also alignment is the next one that I like talking about. And alignment is about managing your energy. And this is where I think the majority of us struggle with. We'll get to know ourselves, but we don't manage our energy. And it's not that we're bad people. It's just we're not taught that. Like this world, this hustle culture, I mean, it's like there's a lot of pushback. I remember up until last year, actually, feeling like it's just so self-indulgent to take all this time, so many times out of the week, to care for myself when so many people are hurting and so many people are wounded and whatever, But then guess what? When a sister found herself broke down, she was like, oh, I got to do something. I've got to manage my energy. I've got to take care of myself. Self-care is one of the best ways to manage your energy. Is that not feminine? I'm not saying there's no masculine aspect to it, because there's some masculine things that we can do to take care of ourselves. But self-care is very feminine. It's like essential, especially for women that have well, I'm going to tell y'all, for the women who still have their cycles, it's essential, because every phase of your cycle requires different food, different amount of rest, different exercise. For those of us that have moved past that, we are very, very sensitive. Like estrogen, y'all, give thanks for estrogen. Give thanks for that cycle. It wasn't until I started going through perimenopause that I realized how protective it is to have a cycle. That's a beautiful, powerful thing. We need to make sure we teach our daughters, honor your cycle. Don't act like this thing is horrible. Look at how we've been trained. Oh God, I'm on my period. I just wish my period would just stop. Why? That's our power center. Take some blood from your menstrual flow and pour it on some plants. Mix it with a little bit of water, pour it on some plants, watch them plants grow. All right, let me tell y'all, I was a little bit sad when I began to realize my cycle was leaving. I was like, oh no, it's so powerful. Managing our energy, our emotions. A lot of us, we don't know even really how to manage our emotions. We don't realize how much our emotions are running amok. Our minds are out of whack. We don't realize it. And we will sabotage ourselves because we're so programmed by the masculine. We will go right back to that. We will go right back to this masculine way of being. You know, we won't let ourselves lay in bed. It's like, oh, I'm lazy. Now, some people, some people like really like to work. But at some point we should be okay. Like, well, you know what? I worked all day yesterday. So if I want to lay in bed or just lay around and lounge, that's just what I'm going to do. You know, we want to manage our energy. It's very, very important to do that. And then you want to take action. And I do think that this is another area where we struggle as women, because as masculine as we live, as masculine as society that we live, we doubt ourselves all the time. And so it's like that jump rope thing again. It's like, oh, I'm going to jump in just a minute. Okay, y'all, keep turning. I'm going to jump in. And then we never jump in. And it's just so much doubt and so much unhappiness. So we do have to take action. It's very important. And so the aligning is what helps us. Like, what action do we need to take? Well, that's what we use the alignment piece for. We know if I need to, be busy and building something, working on something, I'll have to manage my energy one way versus, well, I'm just going to go on vacation. I'm going to manage my energy a totally different way. It's about being conscious of how we're working as women. And then community. My position is there are so many good women out there. I know we deal with the mean girls, the mean girl culture, and we have to begin to really train our daughters up to learn how to be competitive without being vicious to one another and like scratching and clawing to, whatever. I know we do have the mean girl culture, but it's like, I guess what you focus on is what you get. I am surrounded by all of y'all are amazing. Even the ones that are pushed back on me, typically they're not like calling me out my name or nothing. For the most part, it's just so much respect in this community, in the spiritual community, the business community that I'm in. I just find a lot of good women. And why is we thrive when we're with one another. We really do. It's not fun doing all this alone. I don't like being alone. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like I said, my godmother, she's really good with getting the initiation going. We do have times when we get together, but I would feel very lonely quite a bit. There were times when I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This is not a tradition that it's been around for thousands of years, not even hundreds of years. I actually, this year will be 15 years that I initiated. And then the lady who initiated before me, maybe she initiated. I don't even think it's been 20 years since she initiated. So it's not old. And it could be lonely. Like, me and my friend, we would kind of get together and talk sometimes. And we would have these times when we would just like meet once a week and stuff like that. But it got very, very lonely. And so that's one of the reasons I love YouTube and having all of you, as well as the inner circle, the readings, just so much connection. I need it, and I find other women need it. And that it helps us to stand firmly in our power and to be okay with the feminine way. So let me see here. Where's mine? Yes, you're a great communicator. You explain things clearly and have calming energy. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you. I heard if you don't have a cycle, just follow the moon cycle. Yes, that is a very good strategy, Marcia. It's a very good strategy. Follow the moon cycle. I actually believe in following the moon cycle for women on a regular basis. The problem is a lot of times people don't know how to follow the moon cycle. That's one of the things I actually plan on teaching more. The spiritual aspirant initiation is, it was created by the majority of it was channeled and created by my godmother, but there was a group of priestesses that also helped to create it. And since I've been doing it, there are things that I'm adding to it that I think women really need in order to seriously begin to live a goddess-centered lifestyle. And so one of the things that I think is key is living according to the moon cycle. So you have your personal moon cycle. I love it when I hear women who are like, I always mince with the new moon, or I always mince with the full moon. Personally, I don't care which one. I used to think it was best to mince with the new moon, but I don't care because you never really know what's going on with a woman's body. As long as she knows when she's going to mince and she's good with her cycle, like I said, I'm about self-religion. I'm about self-regulation and self-acceptance and just being okay. Like another thing that I think is important with the goddess-centered lifestyle and the goddess tradition is accepting there's not really any wrong you can do unless you're compromising yourself, unless you're hurting somebody. It's very difficult to do rituals wrong. That's another thing about religion. It's just so much. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. No disrespect to those of y'all that's in religions, but oh my God, it can be so stressful. And so people just are so full of doubt to the point where they just will abdicate their power to somebody else, right? And so having the lunar cycle, that to me, that's feminine. That's a way to go back to the divine feminine way. Live according to a cycle. There's a lady in the inner circle. She is big into numerology. I love numerology and astrology. It might be something else out there. I don't know, because they are so predictive of cycles. That's something that I said I'm going to be working on, like really cultivating myself as the cycle queen. What cycle are you in? And honor that cycle. I would love to hear from y'all. Let's talk about the moon. What has happened since the new moon? By the way, in the description box is the link to sign up to get on the wait list. And so all that means is that you're going to be getting more information about what is the spiritual aspirant initiation, and you can decide if it's for you. See, we're doing this the feminine way. You figure out if this is for you. Hi, Jawan. How are you? Cycles are everything. I'm learning that now. Yes. When you understand your cycle, whatever cycle you're in, then it will help you to not feel like life is just happening. That's another thing. This masculine world does not properly prepare people for understanding what's going on. The world seems so random. So random. And, and once I began to learn astrology, I was like, oh, life isn't random. I tell this story about 2015 was one of the worst times of my life, 2014, 2015. And I used astrology to do some research. Okay. So let me tell you what happened. What had happened was I had what was called a Neptune transit. And so Neptune crossed over my planet Mercury. And at the time, I knew nothing about astrology. During that time, first of all, my Mercury is already in Pisces, which is not a good placement for Pisces according to astrology. It's not a good, now it has its pluses, but it's really not a good placement for a number of reasons. And so to have Neptune going over top of this planet, there were literally times where there were things that were right there and I couldn't see it because Neptune creates a fog. And I already had this problem anyway, just having Mercury in Pisces. I remember there were so many times, and to this day, I am terrified sometimes of going through certain intersections because I thought the light was green and the light was red and I was driving through. I remember one time I almost got hit by an 18-wheeler. There was another time I just knew the light was green. The light was straight up red. It had already turned green for the people going across. I drove straight through that intersection. I get a little emotional thinking about it. That was one of the worst times of my life because I was like, what is going on? I'm a very smart person. I've always been smart. And I'm running through lights like, what the hell is going on? But the other thing that will happen, and this is why I'm a little emotional, is when you got Pisces energy, and when you have Neptune energy, you will literally have leagues of angels that will protect you. Those cars did not move. That 18-wheeler saw me coming and was honking the horn like, stop your ass, stop. It was like, no matter what, I never got touched. But the way I ended up getting super wrecked was like people would make fun of me. I was teaching Zumba. I would just straight up forget my choreography. I couldn't remember anything. I felt like a dingbat. I had no idea that it was anything astrological going on. I just felt like a complete failure for a number of years because this transit lasts for years. I felt like a failure. And so once I started studying astrology, I was like, that was a Neptune transit. There were remedies I could have used had I known, but I was able to forgive myself. I was able to heal and just, kind of make some sense of it. It's still like some bad taste in my mouth from that time because Neptune will bring people who take advantage of you. It was like a lot of people. I felt like when you have this happening, you cannot stop it. You can't stop people from taking advantage of you. And some of my friends were like, can you not see they're taking advantage of you? I'm like, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh. I felt so weak. Had I understood that was my cycle of a Neptune transiting my Mercury, I would have made different choices. And so it just like makes me so happy that I know astrology and I can start talking to you all and help you to understand is when you have a good transit, you're soaring. You're probably not asking me to do a reading for you. But when you have a rough transit going on, I'm so happy that I can tell you, you're not a bad person and you don't have bad luck coming your way. It's just, this is the transit that you have going on. And these are the things you want to do. I've watched Pluto wreck one of my friends. Like, it's hard some of these transits are really, really hard. One of the things that I like letting women know about is like when you turn 47, that's a hard year. 47 is a no joke year. And some women, they might just float through it. A lot of times when you begin to realize, 47 is a hard year. Okay, well, I'm not shocked by it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to do what 47 does. 47 says rest, let go of some stuff, rest. And you want to begin to let go and get ready to move into a new phase. It was one of the worst years of my life. And thanks to astrology, I was like, okay, 47, it was supposed to be bad. Okay, I got it. Another rough year was, let me see here, Saturn square is maybe right around this time. When you get about 50, 51, you'll have what is called Saturn square Saturn. This is one of the roughest transits I have ever experienced in my life. A lot of people have started learning about Saturn return. So we have Saturn return, and then we have Saturn square Saturn. We have Saturn opposition Saturn, or Mars square Mars, Mars opposition Mars. This is rough. And so when you begin to realize, okay, it's going to be rough, but this is what the mandate is, then you will not feel so lost. So this is why I promote, learn about the goddess-centered lifestyle and embrace the cycles. And there's no cycle like the moon, the lunar cycles. But it's not just where's the moon every day, which is important. Y'all know I will be talking about, especially in the inner circle. Y'all know I'm telling y'all where the moon is all the time. But the eclipses, that's about the moon. The eclipses is the moon and the sun. It's the moon and the sun. And so it's really important for us to, embrace these cycles. Ooh, y'all are so sweet. Yes, it was very scary to this day. The one time that my children were in the car, my kids to this day remember that. It's like burned in our subconscious. It was one of the most horrifying moments of my life, because I'm honking at the truck like, why are you driving through? And he's honking at me like, stop. And I'm like, oh, the light is red. Oh, y'all know now when I drive through this light, because it's to this nonprofit where I work at part-time, I'm doing like this. Okay. Lights, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Like the whole time I'm driving to this light, I'm like, okay, the light is, I see the light. Is it red? Is it green? Sometimes I'm like, please let me be behind a car. The car will show me if the light is red or green. And once that transit left, check this out. Once that transit left, I came back to normal. I've not had that problem. I still have Mercury in Pisces. It's sometimes, oh my gosh, what was it? Azizi said, Iya, you got this time. You said it was at this time, but it's at this time on your graphic. Like, that's going to happen all the time. Tracy was like, Iya, you didn't put, I think I was like, here's the wisdom from October 31st to something. And I had October 1st to November something. And it's for the week. I was like, oh my God, my Mercury, it'll get me in trouble for sure. Yes. Yeah. Y'all, thank y'all so much. I love y'all. I really just appreciate y'all for believing in me, because I'm going to tell y'all something. This is not necessarily easy work, because there's not a lot of people out there who are our predecessors doing this work. And I give thanks to my godmother for doing it, because she gave me the courage to show up and do it. And so when I show up and I have such lovely people cheering me on and like, thank you for helping me, getting the readings and stuff. It makes me say, I got to keep doing this. I was listening to somebody today that was talking about, like, if you were a billionaire and you no longer had to work for money, what would you do? I'd be like, shoot, ain't no question. I would be on the YouTubes and sharing all this wisdom on the regular, this is exactly what I would be doing. So I appreciate y'all so much. Eileen said her Pisces is forgetful as hell too. I love it, Eileen. I love it. So, okay, let me see how long I've been on here. Just over an hour. Woo, I might have to do a little bit of healing from that. Oh, I asked y'all to tell me about this new moon. Let's talk about this moon in Scorpio. Y'all remember we talked about awareness, right? Awareness. We want to bring awareness to what is. It was so fun today in the workshop that I did in the inner circle. I started out by talking about, it was a very small group that was there. So I got to focus on one chart, but it was just so compelling for everybody. And so I asked the sister, I want you to think back to what has happened over the last year with where the eclipses are happening. And we sort of talked about, and she was like, yeah, that's exactly what the focus has been on, you know? And it just kind of seemed like something was happening, like she was making some choices based on some stuff that's happening. And I think it's actually the eclipses that's bringing all of this up, because it's actually a highlight for her. It's the second time we've talked about this highlight for her, which is career. And so this is about becoming aware. And there was nothing like the eclipses that helped me to begin to realize, oh my gosh, actually eclipses is what got me into astrology. So I want y'all to start thinking about this eclipse in Scorpio. And it doesn't matter how big or how small the thing is. I want you to bring some awareness to the last few days. Bring some awareness to the last few days. The eclipse was on Thursday. Here we are at Saturday. I'll be honest with y'all. A lot of times, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm sort of like super spiritual. So I don't all the time have anything like, you know, the clouds parting and a lion descending out of the clouds. Nothing like that. Yes, I need to post it, Sandy. I hadn't posted it yet. I'll send an email out once I post it. It was more of like a case study. It was very fascinating, very fascinating. Yeah, but this new moon in Scorpio, and it's probably because I'm a Scorpio rising, I don't know, but I just perceive Scorpio to be very, very spiritual. It has really been blowing my mind. Was it the night of the full moon? I think it was the night of the full moon. Yes, the night of the full moon. I was falling off to sleep, and I saw in my mind's eye an orange frog. I was like, what? You know, it's like the twilight of sleep. I wasn't really asleep, but I wasn't really awake. And I see this orange frog. And so I decided to look up the totem, the frog totem. And the key word that I saw there was transformation. That's what the frog is about. And it's a very spiritual totem. Actually, I love the frog totem. So it's things like that. It's things like that. Let's see here. What else has happened? Okay, so, you know, I think it's important for us to use this Scorpio energy to figure out what's going to be highlighted. So, for instance, for Scorpios, our bodies are going to be highlighted. Our health, our well-being, our appearance, and just our life is going to be changing overall. And so, man, and one of the things I said about this new moon is it has a reality check kind of energy about it. And man, I had a reality check because I have just not been intermittent fasting. Don't get on me, Eileen. I have not been intermittent fasting. And I sit down way too much. Like I'll get up and exercise, but my exercise is not consistent. And so I was like, "Ooh, weight is up. Reality check. Whoa." So I was like, okay, over this next year, I already see transformation is on the way because I'm dealing with this frog. I was like, I'm going to go out and buy a bunch of frogs. I'm about to put frogs up everywhere. I am not going to be playing around with this Scorpio energy. Okay. And so that's number 2. And I have been super irritated. Oh my gosh. I have just been so irritated. It just seems like it's just my poor husband who's dealing with me. But I'm just like, leave me alone. Like every time I turn around, you're like walking up and talking to me because, you know, we're both here all the time. I'm like, every time I come downstairs, I don't need you to come into the kitchen and speak to me. Or, you know, I'm up here working. What do you want? And he's like, I love you. I'm like, oh, okay, but leave me alone. You know, I'm like, ooh. So I was like, okay, see, we think, oh, I'm just irritated. No, that's the moon trying to tell me something. I need to do something, right? So then yesterday I had a complete meltdown. Now I'm okay, y'all. I'm okay. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I had a complete meltdown. I was like, I don't know if what I'm doing matters. I'm like super doubtful of myself. Oh my gosh, you know, what am I doing? Like, is this really going to work? I don't know. This work that I'm doing, I don't know. I was like, okay, I already know what's going on. Over this next year, I'm going to be working on stepping more with more confidence. And actually what that was because Scorpio is about releasing and letting go. I've always dealt with, well, we've been talking about this energy of self-doubt. And it's so funny because one of the sisters today in the workshop, I was like, okay, you're working on confidence. So I want you to think of somebody who's really confident and you can borrow their confidence. She was like, you. I was like, what? I was like, me? Okay. That's why I was like, I got to keep doing my work. Because I want to show up as that confident sister. But yesterday I was lacking confidence, but I didn't take it as a problem. I just said, oh, this is something I need to release. Because see, that's what Scorpio is about. So, yes, Oya speaks. Yes, Sandy. Blessings, Takia. That's when my ancestors speak to me, half asleep, half awake. Oh my gosh, yes. Well, y'all speaks. Okay, so y'all get me. Y'all been irritated with y'all. Y'all been irritated too. I have been so annoyed. And I was telling a friend today, I was like, look at my astrology. My astrology is just like jank. It's no wonder poor Craig is like, why are you so grumpy? And I'm grateful that this guy is an Aquarius, okay? I don't think he has any feelings. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't take it personally. He just laughs at me or whatever. So I'm waiting to hear from y'all. This is what the goddess energy is about. Give me one thing. What have you gotten from this new moon in Scorpio? I want to hear from y'all. Let's have a goddess circle right here. Let's talk about it. Have you seen an animal totem? Have you been ultra intuitive? And how did you know? Like, what's coming up to your intuition? Have you felt like there's something coming up that needs to be released or let go of? What have you manifested over this last? I'm not going to say what it was, but Sandy had a great new moon. She's had a great new moon experience. She manifested something that's just like incredible. So it could be something like that. It doesn't have to be traumatic and bad. Scorpio ain't all bad. Y'all know y'all be talking about Scorpio. Scorpio is not all bad. Let's see here. Sounds like you're going through what I go through sometimes. Sometimes I do so much work on myself spiritually. It's like doing constant shadow work and having a dark night of the soul sporadically. I had a dark night of the soul yesterday, for real. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I woke up and I was just like, oh, I'm fine. Yes, manifesting big time, Sandy. Big time. She had a really good day yesterday. So Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to share today, because my goal is to come on and give you all a taste. And so many of the women who are commenting, they are in the inner circle. Not all of them are part of the spiritual aspirant initiation yet, but you get to see what it's like. This is what it's like in the inner circle. We sit around, we have spiritual conversations, we learn together, we do our women's work together. I have a snake totem, hummingbird, and dragonfly. Man, that's a lot of, the hummingbird and the dragonfly kind of go together, Eileen. But I'm like, snake too? Wow. I would say those are all very Oshun-esque, though. I did not sleep Thursday night. No energy at all of Friday. Unexpected refund yesterday. Go Felicia with the refund. I'm going to tell you, yesterday the moon was void a very long time. Let me see. Speaking, Marsha, and a dragon too, Eileen. Okay. Okay, so here's another. Let's talk about the moon based on what Marsha said. Ephemeris. I'm gonna pull up this ephemeris and I'm gonna show y'all. So I'm gonna blow your mind this week. It's in the inner circle. If you're in the inner circle, I already talked about this in the weekly reading, but I'm gonna show y'all something else. For those who are watching this to this point, especially if you're not in the inner circle, you're about to get a real treat. I'm about to help your week be really, really good. Okay. So this is called an ephemeris. And by the way, inner circle members, there's a astrology class next week, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So let's get down to November 2021. This ephemeris is based on Eastern Standard Time. It's why I use it, because it's just easier for me to understand the time. So today is November the 6th. So we can see the moon is in Sagittarius until tomorrow morning, which it will go void. Check this out, y'all. I'm trying to figure out, what did we do to the universe? Okay. This moon goes void at 8:44 a.m. Eastern time, and it does not go into Capricorn until 8:03 p.m. Okay. Like 12 hours. 12 hours. So Felicia, get ready. You may not have any energy tomorrow. So then it goes into Capricorn on the 7th at 8:03 p.m. And it'll stay there until the 9th at 12:52 p.m. Eastern time. At 12:52 p.m. Eastern time on the 9th, which is the 9th, Tuesday morning, a workday morning. This is not Saturday, universe. This is not Sunday. 12:52 p.m. It does not go back into a sign until 10:02 p.m. Eastern time on the 9th. What did we do? Who made the universe upset? And so then it'll be in Aquarius until the 11th. On the 11th at 2:53 p.m., which is, to me, sort of early. Like those on the West Coast, that's like 1 o'clock. The moon is going to go void. We'll be a little bit better this way on the East Coast, but the moon is going to go void at 2:53 p.m. and it won't go back into a sign until 2:54 a.m. on the 12th. And it's going to be in Pisces. We're going to be sleepy on the 12th, y'all, for real. But the ladies who are in Europe and on that side of the world, I don't know if I have any sisters from Africa watching, but I know I have sisters from Europe. Y'all gonna wake up like, oh, do I have to get up? What day is the 12th? Friday morning. Friday morning, folks in Europe gonna be like real sleepy. We're gonna get some good sleep on this side. We're gonna get some real good sleep. So talk about living according to the cycles. Okay. Thank you, Sandy. If you're not in the inner circle, I highly recommend it. It's an empowering and supportive community. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I want it to be. Empowerment and support. And it's not even just me. It's seriously everybody. Everyone in the inner circle is nice. Everybody. There's not one grumpy soul in there. Now, we might get grumpy. We might get a little bit sad. Highly supportive. And yes, it's about empowerment. Good, Felicia. Wow, on top of that. Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Sandy. We have the end of daylight savings time, too. That's right. Is that tonight? Yay! I'm so excited. Okay. Well, I've kept y'all on long enough. Thank y'all so much for being here with me this evening. So I'm going to give y'all one last little thing that's happening. Just a great example of astrology at work and knowing your cycles. So I knew something was going to happen really different because my moon has been greatly impacted by Uranus. Like right now, even my neck hurts because Uranus, ever since Uranus has been in, you are nice, Felicia. You're welcome, Marcia or Marcia. Ever since Uranus has been in Taurus, I've had problems with my neck. Like, you know, y'all used to see me wearing my elekes, which are my spiritual necklaces. But anything on my neck hurts. This sweater has been hurting my neck. I've been like, ooh, let me keep that off of my neck. It hurts. So I already knew, you know, something was going to happen because Uranus has been real close to my moon and Uranus creates change. Now, let me tell you, here's a pro tip. If you have a transit to your moon by Uranus, especially something like a square or I'm having a conjunction, which means Uranus is right there with my moon. It's like they're related or something. It'll make you, it'll change your hormones. Anything that happens to your moon can change your hormones. And that's when I started going full into menopause. Like Uranus started transiting my moon, I'm in menopause. The other thing that's been happening is like every year there's a theme that we have for our life. So I'm in what's called a fourth house year because of my age. Everyone at 51, they're in the fourth house year. And so I knew something was going to happen. I knew something was going to happen because it's a lot going on with my moon and then my fourth house, which has to do with home and family. Well, it turns out, you know, gratefully, my father-in-law, he's aging. And so his children have to take care of him. My sister-in-law has been taking care of him for over a year, almost 2 years now, maybe 2 years. And she's worn out. And they're fortunate in the sense that they get to take care of their dad and not have to put him in a nursing home or anything. And so, my sister-in-law is like, I'm worn out. So my husband is getting ready to go start taking care of his dad. So guess who's going to be here quite a bit by herself, alone by herself. I'm not going to be able to be grumpy to anybody. I've been telling my dog, you better get ready. It's just going to be me and you. All right. Oh, yes, Eileen. Yes. Make a light necklace. Oh, yes. Yes. Make a light necklace. I didn't even think about that. But I can wear bracelets. So yeah, that's something that's really interesting. That is, it's astrology, knowing your cycles. It really matters. And so what I began to relate it to is this unpacking that I'll be experiencing of myself. Yesterday, when I was just like in full of doubt, I was like, well, you know what? I have gone through essentially a retirement, even though it's, homeschooling, being a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, something's different. I don't know how to explain it. Something's real different. And my director, who has always worked, she was like, no, I didn't feel that way. So I think it's because of me being a homeschooling mom. I was like, I really need to unpack my life and change some stuff up. And I guess who's getting ready to do that? This girl. Instead of feeling like, I don't know, not embracing this time, not being okay with it. Like, I see it for the gift that it really is. And guess what? Y'all going to be seeing me more. Okay. Love y'all so much. Thank you. And I will be sending out emails soon to the SAI wait list. There's some people who I want you to meet. And oh yeah, we need to talk about the snake totem. So we're going to talk about that next time. We'll talk about this. It is essentially, the snake totem is about transformation. It really is. It really is. You're welcome, Sandy. Thank you all so much. And yeah, I'll be sending emails out soon, emails out soon. I want y'all to meet some special people, because the initiation is a process that is a community process. So you'll get to meet some of the priestesses, and even my godmother. I asked her if y'all, I don't know if y'all will meet her during the time that I'm like talking to y'all about it, but once we actually get into the process, actually what I'll do is on that, I'm going to create like an all access page. You all can, there's an interview that I did of her a few years ago, and you can learn more about her then. She's a really beautiful soul and wise. I call her a living luminary. So yeah, y'all get to meet so many new people and just get to see the community that you'll be a part of, the expanded community that you'll be a part of. Hey, Sherry. Okay, y'all. Sherry asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it. How do you find out what cycle you are in? This astrological, you're welcome, Joanne. Thank you. This astrological technique is called, thank you, Felicia. It's called perfection. How old are you, Sherry? How old are you? I made a video too, I don't know when I made this video, but I made a video where I actually went over perfection. Girl, that might have been months ago, but I'm going to wait for you to tell me your age. And I will tell you what cycle you're in. And it's other cycles. Like, this is just one, Sherry, okay? This is just one. But let me tell you, it is very effective. If I go away, it's just because my internet messes up when I open up different apps. It didn't go away. Oh, my gosh. If I wanted it to stay, it would have gone away. But it did not go away. Maybe it's because a lot of people aren't using the internet. I'm just going to wait another few moments, Sherry. I just need to know your age. And I can tell you what cycle you're in real quick. And we'll use you as a case study. Another thing to think about while I'm waiting is, you're in a cycle with the eclipses. So, what is your sign? And that'll let you know what you're going to be working on with the eclipses. So if you want to, you could listen to people who are talking about what do the eclipses mean by sign. I'm one who believes you should get readings. I really do. I don't think people should be getting readings about every little thing. One of the things I'm very big on is doing your own readings and trusting yourself to be able to do your own readings. But yeah, sometimes it's important to get a reading from somebody who has maybe some advanced experience, because people who don't have advanced experience, they can't tell you about perfection, or I've never really heard anyone talk about perfection except for Victor and maybe one other person that someone told me about. But at the very least, what is this eclipse season about for your sign? And people will tell you about that. People will talk to you about that. Now, why should you get readings? It's because, say for instance, if you have, let's say, someone is like an Aries and a Gemini. Well, let me not say Gemini. An Aries and a Libra and a Cancer. Okay. It may seem like these eclipses aren't going to really impact them much, but if they have certain planets, let's say in Scorpio or Taurus, these eclipses could be very impactful for them. So that's when it's good to get a reading if you want to know specifically. But I love talking in general. And so, yeah. All right. I don't see an age. Let me know if I've missed it, Felicia, but I don't see any comment. So I won't use her age, but that's something I would do. Keep up with the eclipses. Know when the eclipses are. Another cycle that's very common is your birthday. Your birthday is a new cycle. And so that's a time to start something new and to have a different focus. Now, the perfection tells you what to work on based on your birthday. So, all right, y'all take care. Thank you. Love you all so much. And I will see y'all real soon. All right. Peace and love.